Hello everyone, welcome to Canteen Cup. My name is Scott. Looks like the rain's going to give us a break for a little bit. Of course, it soaked the ground again, so I can't get any work done on the property. It just, when I take my tractor out there to do some work, it just turns into a quagmire. And so really the best thing to do is just to be patient and wait for the ground to dry out before I can do some more work. Hey, I wanted to talk about a couple things today, and some of you may have seen that the coronavirus is starting to spread. The death rate is increasing, and I really want to caution that, and that is that's still nothing to get excited about, because from what I've read so far, all the deaths, especially those in the U.S., are from people that have otherwise compromised or have underlying health issues. Which means they may already have diabetes or emphysema or asthma or something like that. So they're already, at risk. And then the coronavirus just kind of pushes them over the top, so to speak. And that happens with the influenza. That's what happens with the flu anyhow. It does the same thing. So, take that with a grain of salt. That when you see the deaths go up, find out where they are and what's actually going on. Everything I'm reading from doctors and epidemiologists are really saying that this coronavirus is no more and may even be less severe than the flu that we get anyhow. A lot of media hype out there. So don't get carried away, or still continue to do things you normally do. Just be careful in your anxiety and your panic. So I want to talk about a couple things today. One is dog rice, and I'd really like to say it was my idea, but it wasn't. And the credit goes to Pastor Joe Fox over on Viking Preparedness. And what he's talking about is when we are putting away foods for ourselves, when we're storing food for ourselves, that many of us have animals, and have animals that we dearly love. But are we putting away food for them? And I'm one of those people that really haven't thought about how am I going to feed my animals, because they do a service for us, even during those times. Well, Pastor Joe, his idea was to store extra rice for his dogs, and I thought that was a good idea. Dogs can live on rice just like we do. A lot of dog foods today have a lot of grain and a lot of rice in them, so they would be getting some of the same foods. And so what I did is I went ahead and ordered 2 cases of canned dog food. Now, why canned dog food over dry dog food? Because the canned dog food will last longer, because it's pressure canned, and it'll probably last for a couple years, whereas dry dog food will only last a couple months. It tends to go rancid after a couple months, because it's not canned like canned dog food is. And so my intention is that I'm going to take the canned dog food and mix it with the rice. That yes, the dog will not be getting his 100% full capacity dry dog food protein mix, but he'll be like the rest of us. We'll have enough to get by. and my intentions are is to take the dogs and to rotate the canned dog food out, so that, you know, a couple times a year I'm actually buying more canned dog food, so I can rotate it out. Of course the dogs will like it because they get dry dog food now, so if they get a can of wet food every now and again, they'll just be tickled. And I have my heartworm and flea medicines for my dogs are in pill form, and they don't like those pills. I can't get them to eat them unless I chop the pill up into very small pieces and I mix it in with something like canned dog food, and so they think they're getting a treat, but actually they're getting their flea, tick, and heartworm medicine, which down here in the South is very important. If you have a dog down south and you're not treating them for heartworm, you're really doing a disservice to your dog, because heartworm is very prevalent down here. And one of my dogs had to go through the process of getting rid of heartworm, and while it didn't kill him, I think it almost did, because he was really sick for about a month. And so I'd just rather not have him have to go through that. So that being said, you know, take care of your dogs. Plan on how you're going to feed them when things get bad. And I'm driving down a part of my road yesterday because there was something. Well, I can't see it. There was fire trucks all over here yesterday. I couldn't get through here, and it was just amazing. Like 4 or 5 fire trucks, and they had not the little 2-inch hoses out, they had the 4 and 5-inch hoses out, and I couldn't see what it was. It didn't look like there was a fire, but man, they shut down the road for a while and I couldn't get through here, so I was just being curious. One of the things I do here, more so than I do in other places I've lived, is I take a lot more notice in my community. I drive around a little bit more. I tend to just see what's going on, not being overly nosy, but it's just good to know. Anyhow, back to the dogs. You know, plan for your dogs, and you know, the term was dog rice, and that's rice put aside for your animal consumption. The other thing I wanted to talk about today was, you know, prepper burnout, and I think we get into that on occasion when well, I don't see any fire. Yeah, back to prepper burnout. Sorry. You know, we get caught up in the momentum of the world. You know, news feeds from around the globe are driving us into, you know, panics and anxieties of this, and then conspiracy theories, and, you know, how we have to prep, and then there's the heavy push from the commercial side of the preparedness community. Buy this or you will die. Do this or you will die. Something or you will die. And I think there comes a point every now and again when we have, and I call it prepper burnout, is when you've had enough. And I think everybody gets that, you know, that burnout syndrome. And really what it does is it just makes you stop prepping. And sometimes, you know, sometimes you get back into it after you take a little break, sometimes you don't. And really what I wanted to talk about is try not to let yourself get into that that cycle, high anxiety, low depression, high anxiety, low depression, high anxiety, low depression. It's not healthy for you. And what I've discovered, my cure for it is I got out of the cities, because a lot of that stuff, a lot of that, amping up of stuff happens in more populated areas. And then once I moved out in the country, and I feel more secure living out here, and I feel safer out here. Well, I really don't care as much about what's going on in other places. And really where my focus is today is in my community. Where you see me driving right now is a part of my community. And that's really what I worry about. Do I worry what's happening in the neighboring big cities? A little bit, but not, it doesn't bother me. Do I worry about what's going on in Russia? No. Not even so much with the elections going on in our country, in the U.S. I just not as concerned. Now, don't get me wrong. When it comes time for me to vote, I will go vote. But in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to affect me. And really where I try to focus is on the things that affect me and my community. And it always boils back to the same thing. Do you have enough food? Do you have enough water? Can you maintain sanitary conditions? Can you defend your family? And once I get beyond that, there's really just not a whole lot more to think about. I mean, if you're one of those what I call ambulance chasers or adrenaline junkies, then you have to get your fix, and so you get into all these forums and news feeds and whatever, and you get yourself all amped up and all excited about stuff, and you do that for a while, and then your body kind of shuts down a little bit. It kind of says stop. And then you go back into that low again where you don't want to hear nothing. And so I'm not saying turn a deaf ear to everything or turn a blind eye to everything, but just keep it as background noise. Keep it as static in the background, and don't worry about all the other stuff. Just worry about your little world, because that's what's most important. Worry about your neighbor with all the fire trucks in front of his house, or worry about when you see 5 or 6 police cars like I saw on Sunday go racing down the road. That's in my community, so I worry about that. But just try to prevent prepper burnout. It's on several different YouTube channels. It's on several different blogs. Come out of her, my people. Was it lest ye partake of her plagues and all that other stuff that goes with it? I think that's part of it. If you stay in those places, then you get caught up in that stuff, and it's just not healthy for you. So come out of her, my people. Get out. Get as far out as you can. Not everybody can get all the way out in the middle of Wyoming, but get as far out as you can. I know I'm not out in the middle of Wyoming, but I'm in a very nice rural part of the country, and boy, life is just so much different. There's just so much I just don't care about anymore. I've unsubscribed to several things, and I just don't worry about it. Do I watch the coronavirus thing? Yeah, I watch it. I have there's a website you can go to and check, but I'm not biting my nails over it. I'm just kind of watching what's going on out there, and if it gets into my community, then I'll worry. But right now, it's not in my community. It's not really even near my community. So I'm not worried about it. And I think even if it does get here, I don't think it's going to be that big a deal. I'm not seeing people get all amped up about it. The people that know, and I'm not talking about, some of these YouTube news feeds where some guy's just talking and really has no idea what he's talking about. I'm talking about the people I read and listen to are doctors and epidemiologists. That have I read an article from the New England Journal of Medicine. Places like that is where I try to get my information from. Real, what I call real sources, not some guy trying to amp you up so that you'll click on his subscribe thing so he can monetize that and get money. So everybody just take it easy. You know what you got to do. Just do it. Do it with peace. Peace in your soul, peace in your heart, peace in your mind. Trust the Lord. Listen to the Holy Spirit to guide you what to do. And a lot of that anxiety will just go away. Alright, well that's all I got. Just a little musing in between the rainstorms, and not a whole lot going on in the homestead because it's just the field is all soaked with water and muddy, so I can't do much for the next couple days. So that's all I got. Stay safe, stay secure. We'll see you.